Brought to you by...
If you're enjoying the content here, please consider supporting us on Patreon or Tippy. What's up, my minions of movie lovers? Welcome back to the fiery pits of Embrace the Film. I am your magistrate of motion picture mayhem, Oliver Buckley. And today we slosh our canvases in the crimson coating of another little celluloid nightmare as we partake in the devil's candy. We are immersed into the hellish visions that fan the flames of Jesse, a struggling artist working on commissions to support his wife and daughter. Things start looking brighter when Jesse finds a gorgeous old house in rural Texas, selling at a very low price due to its mysterious past. Unbeknownst to them, there is a dark force pulsating within the walls of the place. And as Jesse begins to convert the barn into his new studio, its influence begins seeping into his mind, blurring the line between muse and madness. And if that's not enough, things grow even more ominous when the hulking, unbalanced son of the house's former owners shows up on their doorstep, wishing only to return home. It isn't long before Jesse's family realizes that they won't be safe until they find a way to quiet the devil within and defeat the one lurking just outside their door. Friends, by the unholy grace of the beast, someone has finally achieved the perfect marriage between metal and horror, without it steadily devolving into a blood-fueled action extravaganza. The performances in this film are absolutely enthralling. Ethan Embry throttles this character with full force, bringing himself to a place of pure immersion. He truly embodies the metal aesthetic to a point where he is almost unrecognizable. There are a series of layers to his physical appearance alone, with the long, greasy metal hair, the sweat and tattoos, and the splotches of dried paint that are always adorning his skin. Kiara Glasgow portrays Jesse's teenage daughter, who sports his same affinity for the dark, rage-fueled metal scene, complete with hair dye, torn jeans, and what I am unsure is supposed to be a real tattoo or not. She comes at this part with both barrels, bringing a heavily emotional impact, considering the horrors that she is forced to face. I have no trouble believing in the pure terror that she is experiencing. She and Embry played off each other very well, creating an extremely realistic father-daughter dynamic. The interplay between the two in every scene, whether it be a simple car ride to school or an alleviating reunion following a truly traumatic event, perfectly conveys the illusion that they were both cut from the same cloth. We also get Pruitt Taylor Vince here, who plays similar types of characters often, but in my opinion, none before this have been as impactful. He poses an ominous, almost haunting threat that bears down on this family like a wrecking ball. His simple-minded nature only adds to the frightfulness of what he is capable of. Unhindered by the higher forms of cognition, the limits to what he will do to quiet the torments that plague him are unpredictable. The film is gorgeously shot, utilizing slow, creepy dollies, long, lingering static takes, and a harsh, gritty lighting scheme, with pops of vibrancy in mostly red to help convey that grisly, heavy metal look throughout the film. There's a very obvious association between red and evil, given that the large hulking villain of the piece is steeped head to toe in a red tracksuit. There are an abundance of moments throughout this film that place us staring directly into the eyes of either the large villainous Pruitt or the entranced, mortified Embry. I've always loved these moments. They build tension immensely, allowing time for us to imagine what they are seeing that we can't. The pacing of the edits is almost rhythmic, curating every beat like the next measure in a song. Due to this, the plot felt like it unfolded with a gradual increase in pressure. As the influence of evil grew from within the house, and throughout Jesse's mind. One sequence that left me particularly dazzled was one that interplayed the swatches of paint with the act of cleaning up pools of blood. They flowed together like the rapid kicks of a bass drum. It was simply mesmerizing to me, much like the painting of the gruesome portrait, which technically it was. Speaking of which, the paintings that this film puts on display, while dark and no doubt morbidly macabre, were absolutely brilliant and horrifically beautiful. If I could get prints of them, I would sure as hell have them adorning my walls. This film uses a ton of satanic and occult imagery in very artistically relevant ways. The soundtrack of the film may be one of the coolest I have ever heard. It fully embraces that heavy metal aesthetic, incorporating the hungry snarls of electric guitars in a similar way that Christopher Nolan uses various types of horns, even going so far as to work them into the plot, having one character fixated on playing his flying V in loud, hard strokes of the strings to drone out the voices that plague his mind. The film isn't afraid to let its music drive the scenes, allowing much of the sound to drop off and the score to take the wheel and envelop its atmosphere, which many other films won't dare to risk. The plot and story elements in this film were so tightly woven with strong themes and actually hung on visual conveyance. A prime example would be the sequence in which Jesse is trying to gain the interest of the art dealer. The man shows up steeped in a tailored black suit with accents of red, a representative of the art company called Belial, which for those of you who know is another name for Satan, and speaks to him of sacrifice to gain what he wants. It's an incredibly directed sequence, standing as a metaphor for Jesse selling out his soul to the devil for fame and fortune. I also found the notion of children being like candy for the devil as extremely revolting, picturing him passing them through cracked laughing lips like sugary Skittles. They were also able to work in strong imagery taking a stance against evil, with Jesse destroying a painting, overcoming the forces that plagued him, highly representative of shutting out the influence and closing off the gaze of the devil. This film was a paint-splotched heavy metal take on horror, depicting the horrific acts perpetrated by a disturbed mind and overcoming the will of the devil himself. The influence of heavy metal is soaked into every frame of this film, and all of its themes, and all the imagery towards the climax felt like it was straight out of a music video. It's a horrifically beautiful take on the age-old struggle against demons, though represented more as external forces rather than the nightmares that we struggle with internally. I'm giving The Devil's Candy an A+. For me, this one was a highly captivating piece of cinema that stimulated both my loves of horror and heavy metal, as well as my yearning for a strong narrative, compelling and relatable characters, and stunning visuals that haunt the psyche long after the credits have rolled. If you haven't seen this one yet, I can't recommend it enough. I hate myself for waiting so long to sit down and give this one a chance. You can find it currently streaming on Netflix. Once you've checked it out, as always, let me know what you thought down below. Maybe you will notice even more meaning hidden within it than I did. If you enjoyed today's video, please feel free to let me know. It's just a quick scroll down there to that comment section below. If you're enjoying the channel more than words can describe, shoot me a thumbs up and please feel free to subscribe. If you would like to show your support even more, come find ETF on Patreon or Tippy, where every pledge and every tip brings rewards galore, not to mention allowing me to bring you more films to explore. But all jokes and rhymes aside, if you have any films that you would like me to check out, or that you might like to see reviewed on this channel, feel free to reach out to me here down in the comments. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and I will catch you all next time. Thanks for watching.